Good morning again, guys. Whew. Listen, I think I have a encouraging word for you guys today. I'm only going to give it in part because I got to get back home and do some research and studying before I give a full teaching lesson on it. But yesterday, God dropped in my spirit Revelation chapter 21, verses 3 and 4. So when y'all guys get a minute, hopefully you'll do it before I post this word. Hopefully, if God gives me permission, but I think He is going to later on today. And I know what verses 3 and 4 says right off the top of my head, but I want you to read that whole chapter, guys. I glanced at it, I opened to it before I left the house this morning to go on my prayer walk, and my subtitle for that chapter was All Things New. Yeah, All Things New. And it really hit me when I saw that title, and throughout this walk, that scripture or that chapter, particularly the verses 3 and 4, was in my spirit. So I want y'all to take a look at that and really meditate on that phrase I just said. All things new. All things new. We are so programmed to do the same thing over and over and over again that when life changes, it's prompting us to do something new, something different, move to a new area. Consider this person for marriage who you would not typically look at. Make this change, make this job change, make this community change, make this church change. You know, we get stuck in our habits, our rut, which keep us from growing and maturing spiritually. So we want to consider going into this season, all things new. But we want to get the mind of Christ. When He speaks, because the church like to quote that phrase a lot. So when God speaks of all things new, what is the mind of Christ when He says that? Especially considering the book I want y'all to look at. Revelations chapter 21. Look at that whole entire chapter, guys. And if it's in you, read the chapter before and the chapter after. We have a tendency when we're interpreting the scriptures, we look at a verse, oh, this is what that means. But there's factors that we have a tendency of leaving out. Well, this truck is passing by, it's kind of loud. But we want to, when we're reading the scriptures and we want to interpret the scriptures, get an understanding what Christ's mind is concerning His word, we want to read the chapter, at least the chapter before, the chapter we're considering, and the chapter afterwards. And it will give us the whole contextual meaning of that one particular verse you're trying to interpret. Plus, we in the West, what we have the tendency of doing when we read the scriptures, we want to interpret from a Western standpoint, and that's the biggest error that we ever make, because the Eastern culture and the meaning of different things and phrases and words are totally, in lifestyle too, are totally different from ours. So we can read into a text, thinks it means this when it means that. So we got to also, when we're interpreting the scripture, never, ever interpret it from a Western standpoint. Our culture, the way we see and do things, you have to interpret it from an Eastern standpoint. You need to do your history study from an Eastern standpoint, especially when it comes to the scripture, or you will always misinterpret the scriptures. Hear me? So, again, all things new. All things new. Look at Revelation chapter 21. I'm going to probably primarily focus on verses 3 and 4. I might trick me and focus on something else. But that's what I heard in my spirit yesterday, Revelation 21, 3, 4. So I'm going to be looking at that later on this morning, and probably most definitely going to give a teacher lesson on that. But I want y'all to look at it first, and then we'll go from there. All right, let me finish the last leg of my walk. Y'all, I love you as always. Stay in the truth. Stay in God's will. If you don't know it, pray. I pray that you discover what that is for your life and your family. And deuces. Love you guys. Talk to you later.